Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. I'm joined by my longtime friend, comedian, and returning guest to the show, Rosie Tran. Rosie, how you doing today?
Hey, Graham. I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be back on the show and talk about something I'm really passionate about that I think your listeners and watchers would enjoy learning about.
Well, it's great because I think the first time you were on the show was over the summer, like maybe June or something like that, July maybe. I was just starting to get more knowledgeable about cryptocurrency. And in that time, I've had Christy I, who's on the show Boom Bust, who's talked to us about crypto. I've started to talk more about it. I've even been investing more and encouraged my audience to get more knowledgeable about it because there's a pending financial collapse coming.
Yes.
Since we're printing trillions of dollars. And
actually, not just trillions, we've actually printed more in the last 6 months than we have in the past 11 years, Graham. So it's really scary what's going on. And every single country that has printed money like this has collapsed. So this is not a conspiracy theory. This is not crazy. You just open a history book and see when governments print like crazy, the economy and the system collapses. So it's not a sound economic policy, but we have some people who are what's called these Keynesian economists who I believe are very corrupt, and they push credit, debt, and printing. And so it's really scary who the government is listening to.
Yeah, and I'm watching and hearing all these people talk, and it's not just like, lefty economists like Richard Wolff or whatever. It's like, Wall Street people are like, man, this is bad. This isn't going to go well. And so we've just printing all this money, and which is why Bitcoin is really on the rise. Bitcoin, I mean, since the last time we talked, it's gone from probably trading at around 10,000 the last time we talked to now
it's almost doubled.
Yeah, it's almost doubled. It's in the 18 to 19,000 range. There might be a correction coming, but all these people are talking about it. I mean, when I see like Raoul Paul, who used to be like the head of Goldman Sachs, say it's going to be worth 100,000 a coin, 1 million a coin. I mean, I don't know. That all sounds crazy to me, but I see how it could work. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general are becoming very strong and powerful. And it was designed, obviously, we talked about this the last time, Satoshi, or this person or persons who created this, clearly was doing it. And some suggest, I watched this guy, Da Vinci, this YouTuber crypto guy, who thinks that Satoshi was NSA, who was like knowing, who's like, this is how they operate their power. So I'm going to build something. He had to be smart enough to create this, to make it so it's the way it was created, the blockchain and the halving every 7 years, and the fact that people can use it all over the world. I mean, it's one of the things you brought up the first time you were on this show is all the billions of people that are unbanked, and it empowers them. And so I think a lot of governments are going, oh, wow, there's, China's talking about it, digital, all these countries are talking about the CDB, the central bank digital currency, CBDC.
Yes. Right? So that is not the same thing as crypto. And I'm really, really glad you brought that up because unfortunately, Graham, as you and I know, and as I was at one point, and so were you, a lot of people aren't that, they're confused by digital currency.
Sure.
So they don't really understand it. And so the Fed is trying to come up with this Fed coin. It's really scary. And so they're trying to come up with these digital currencies, and they're saying, hey, look, this is a digital currency. This is just like Bitcoin. But we control it. The Fed controls it, And so we know how that goes and how scary that is because they're a very corrupt organization. They've caused most of the income inequality that's existed in society. And you mentioned something, I'm glad you got a call back to the unbanked, because as I was doing research into this extremely corrupt Stablecoin Act that I would like to discuss on the show, I found out, did you get a chance to read that article or that op-ed, that I sent you?
Yes, I did. And we're going to get into that. I actually did a video on it about the Democrats, how hate Black people. And we're going to talk that's the main reason I'm having Rosie on the show, everybody, is we're going to talk about this Stablecoin Act. But I want to give everybody sort of a little background and history lesson, because some of my audience is knowledgeable about crypto. Some of them is not at all. Some people are sort of new to it the way I am.
Yeah.
So I want to give everybody that background, but we are going to get into the Stablecoin Act and how it's bullshit. because that's the background. It's like you seeing how powerful crypto is, and then you see how much of a threat it is to central governments and central banks. Specifically, the American empire has used money and banks to fuel wars and regime change and all that stuff, which is why they're doing these central bank digital currencies. As you're saying, they're not crypto or digital because cryptocurrency is transparent using the blockchain, right? So can you explain the difference between that?
So one of the reasons that Bitcoin and crypto is considered the people's money is because it's decentralized. And all that means is that no one controls it. Everyone who holds it is basically part of the system. So you own Bitcoin, you're part of the system. But we're part of a system that's outside the system, right? So you're not, this cryptocurrency is decentralized. Everyone who owns it owns a part of it, and no one government controls it. So right now, our money is centralized. The US dollar is controlled by the Federal Reserve Bank. And I would say that most of the world's currency is controlled by the United States Federal Reserve Bank, because the USD is what's called the reserve currency. So the petrodollar is tied to the US dollar, and a lot of countries trade in USD as well, not just their local currencies. And so the American Federal Reserve is able to manipulate global systems and global finance. And not just that, but they're able to say who is allowed to be part of our banking system and who isn't. So that op-ed talked about, there's countries in the Caribbean where people can't even send their own relatives money because the Federal Reserve is saying, no, you're too risky, or other countries in Africa where they're saying you're too risky. And so they're saying that these people don't belong as part of the financial system, and they don't deserve financial services. And so because they don't deserve financial services, they have to go through these back alleys and pay MoneyGram, Western Union, payday lenders up to 10% sometimes of their income just to send, a cousin money or relative money. So I'm not sure how someone who's in poverty deserves to pay 10%, upwards of 10% of their hard-earned capital to a shady intermediary because they're not worthy. So it's a very racist system. It's a very, very income inequality driven. And the people who deserve to be part of the financial system tend to be very wealthy, very white, and very male. So the Federal Reserve really is creating more and more and more income inequality. And that's just part of it. This inflationary policy of printing and printing and printing, this is what makes the rich richer and the poor poor. I remember Bernie saying constantly, the rich get richer and the poor get poor. And this is when I started getting into crypto, and I was like, but how? How do they get richer, and how do the poor keep getting poor? And it's not only this inflationary policy, but these transfers of wealth that we talked about privately before, I got on this call. And a lot of people don't understand the system because it's so convoluted and they don't teach it in school. And there's a reason they don't teach finance or the banking system in school. Instead, they teach us, these complicated, math formulas that no one ever uses, because they don't want you to be educated and know what is going on, because it's really, really scary. I believe Henry Ford of the Ford Motor Company has that famous quote where he says, if people knew how the banking system worked, they'd be in the street writing.
Yes. I mean, we could talk for hours about the Federal Reserve and all that, but so that gives us a nice framework of why Bitcoin specifically, but cryptocurrency in general, is a threat to their central banking. And I mean, even you talk about the payday lenders. I mean, those are in, poor neighborhoods in the States. I mean, you see that, and you see how they're kept out of it. And it's funny, you don't see check cashing and MoneyGram in the richer neighborhoods, even just in LA, right?
It's designed like that. Yeah,
absolutely designed like that. So, and again, it's like somebody who lives and works in America or some Western country, and they've got a decent job or whatever, wants to send money back to a third world country. They're charged all these fees, and with cryptocurrency, the fees are nominal.
It's pennies. You can send $1 million or $1, and it's going to cost you pennies. Yeah. Also, because crypto is decentralized and no one controls it, no one can say, no, Graham, I'm not going to give you money. And so as I'm sure you've talked about redlining and other racist policies on your show. And so it's an algorithm. It's just math. So if I want to go and I want to put my money into crypto or crypto lending system like a stablecoin, it's not going to say, oh, Rosie checked off this box, that she's Asian American, why is that box even on there? When you apply for a loan, there's a box that says, are you Hispanic? Are you Black? Why is that on there? It doesn't make any sense. And so with crypto, you don't have to check any boxes. It doesn't matter or care who you are, as long as it's anonymous.
Yes. So let's now get into, first explain what a stable coin is, how it's different from Bitcoin, and then why this Stablecoin Act is so horrific.
Okay, so unfortunately, I have to do a little bit of a history lesson before I get into that. So I'll do it really quick. But the way the traditional banking system works is we have a fractional reserve banking system. So Graham, if you put $1 at Wells Fargo, Chase, or any corporate bank in America, they take your dollar and they only need to hold 10% in their bank reserve, and then they go and lend that money out and make sometimes up to 10 times as much money on your dollar than you do. And I don't know, Graham, but do you ever see any of that profit?
No, the interest rates are really low right now. I don't know. It's weird.
You don't get anything. You get nothing. You get the benefit of using a checking account at their bank. So that's what you get in return. So you get to use their banking services for free, even though they charge late fees and other things. But they then take that money and they loan it for commercial lending, for home loans, for other things. They take that interest and they put it in their pocket. So what a stablecoin is a stablecoin is usually 1-to-1, so $1 US to one coin. So some stablecoins are USD coin. There's like hundreds of them. And so the stablecoins do exactly what the traditional banking system does, but you get the profit. So I'll give you an example. USD coin, right now, they're paying 10% interest on websites like Abra. And so you put your dollar into stablecoin, they go and lend it out to other projects, and then you get the interest. So the interest doesn't go to Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, or another person. It's your money, and you get the interest on your money. So that is a huge transformation from the traditional banking system.
Yeah, and it's a thing that can lift people out of poverty. It's a thing that and we've been told, oh, look how great capitalism and globalization has lifted people out of poverty. Well, it's temporary. And this is a long-term solution for that. I mean, this is like anybody, you just need $10 or $50 or whatever, and you can earn interest on that. And then you can build your portfolio as people start paying attention. They can like go on these exchanges, which I've started to do a little bit. I've started to trade and see how that works. It's not that complicated once you get a handle on it. So it's another version of where cryptocurrency empowers the 99%.
Correct. And not just that, but it's your money and you get the interest. Why do you, when you put your bank in Wells Fargo, does Wells Fargo get the interest and you don't get the interest? That doesn't make any sense. They're using your money, Graham. And so this is what is so different about stablecoins. So stablecoins pay different interest rates. It's, some as low as 1%, upwards of 10+%, depending on what type of stablecoin. And so when they lend that money out, you get the interest. So I think that is really, really awesome. So one of the things that scares me about the Stablecoin Act, so the Stablecoin Act was introduced by Rashida Tlaib, who is, a lot of people know her. She's part of like the squad with AOC, and she's supposed to be this progressive, new wave of the DNC. And it's what's really scaring me is that a lot of these new wave of the DNC people, they look different, they're minorities or women. And then the policies that they're pushing are not only the same policies, of the status quo, some of them are even worse. And so this is what the Stablecoin Act is doing. So Rashida Tlaib is saying that the stablecoins are dangerous, that they're risky, and they need to be regulated and put under the control of the Federal Reserve. So she's saying that this new entity that has nothing to do with the corruption of the past needs to be put under the entity that has caused all the corruption of the past. So to me, that doesn't make any sense. It seems like Stockholm syndrome, hey, the Fed has abused us, caused income inequality and racism. So now let's take this new entity and put all of the control into the hands of this very powerful and corrupt system again. So I'm not sure about you, Graham, but that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And I just I want to say, this is what the Stable Act does. It requires any prospective issuer of a stablecoin to obtain a banking charter, which defeats the whole thing of the empowerment of crypto.
The everyday person. Yes.
Everyone can do it. I don't need to create a bank. I can just do this. I can stake a coin. I can get your office from anybody out there. Oh, now you got to get a banking charter. So again, it's just to clarify what Rosie is saying to the audience. This is how they are specifically keeping the power in the hands of the central banks and the 1%.
And the corporate bankers. This is a shadow banking system that they don't like people having control of their own money, Graham. It's very scary.
Oh, they can't have this because this is what all this regulation is. It is clearly like, we don't want you empowered. It's required that any company offering stablecoin services must follow the appropriate banking regulations under the existing regulatory jurisdictions. This is why all these crypto YouTubers that I watch, they all live in like Dubai and Thailand, and they're all out of this system. Require that any company or bank issuing a stablecoin to notify and obtain approval from the Fed, the FDIC, which they'll give it to you if you're an average person. Absolutely, they'll do that because they want to help you. And the appropriate banking agency, months prior to the issuance, require that any stablecoin issuers obtain FDIC insurance. Oh God, now they want you in their bullshit insurance system. I just had my car smashed and I've had to go through that. And the insurance company's goal is to pay you the least amount of money possible. So it's this whole, this is, and what was in this article that you sent me, that was written by Deirdre Ramsey McIntyre, a woman of color.
A woman of color who is very pro-crypto. And I just want to say, Graham, I thought, Rashida Tlaib is a very intelligent woman. Yep. She's an attorney. And so I thought maybe she doesn't understand crypto. But, a lot of these people are very intelligent, Yale, Harvard graduates. They understand it. They just don't care. They're working for the shadow banking system. They're working for corporate big bankers. And that's the bottom line. Why would you say you want to help minorities and help the poor and then put something that helps minorities and the poor under the regulation of the slave masters who initially exploited the poor and exploited minorities? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's what this whole article goes into. I mean, just to show everybody, these are the people. So it's Rashida Tlaib, Jesus Garcia, Stephen Lynch, and AOC and Ayanna Pressley. Like, this is all of these people of color who we think are so amazing. And this is the thing I harp on this show, like literally every day, every episode, about how the Democratic Party can't be reformed and they're not here to help you. And this is how they trick you. They are almost worse than the Republican Party because they, will put it on someone like AOC's face. And you think, wow, she's just like me. I'm going to vote for this. Well, she's not going to screw me over. She's AOC. She fights for me. No, she
exactly.
Pelosi mama bear. A year and a half ago, she was calling Pelosi out on Twitter, and now she's acquiesced because this is the thing. You talk about the shadow banks. Well, they control the two-party system. So they've gotten wise to go, look, we can't just have a bunch of old white guys doing it. Just put some people of women and people of color to keep doing the same evil shit we've been doing, and this will get a large section of America to swallow it. To go, oh, thank you. There's a rainbow flag on the drone strike. Yay.
Exactly.
Like
it's crazy.
I mean, and just to quote again what this woman wrote, pushing this anti-blockchain legislation proves you hate Black people worldwide. Let me be among the first to say you have messed up. And what else this woman says, if this legislation passes, Black people will be the most penalized because Black people have more to gain from blockchain and cryptocurrency technology than nearly any other demographic. And what I would add to that is what you and I were talking about earlier in this interview is it's anybody in the, in the third world and all of these developing countries that have been deliberately locked out of banking.
Yes.
And that's why this is so like you and I talked about this on the phone before the interview, and we both sort of came to the same conclusion of like, you want to believe that AOC and Tlaib and Presley like just didn't realize this?
That's what I thought at first. I said, well, maybe she doesn't understand what's going on.
Right.
No, they have a staff that does research. She's not going to put her name on a huge bill like this. This is her. Graham, they are calling this her landmark bill. They're saying this is her first bill on the Financial Services Committee. So you better believe she read up on it. She went to crypto conferences and met with crypto people. So she understands 100% what this bill is doing, and it is continuing to further the big corporate banking system, and for the little guy, bend over and take it.
And and the other thing too that was in that op-ed piece was the woman who wrote it said they didn't even poll Black people. They didn't even ask these groups. Like one of them is like Black People Crypto Group or something like that. Or that author that you referred me to, I haven't had him on the show, that Isaiah that wrote, what is it?
Bitcoin in Black America.
Yeah, Bitcoin in Black America, how it's this really, Bitcoin is empowering all these people from all these different walks of lives. But like Black America is like, whoa, people are really seeing, you've had like big name rappers come up, say they've put it in. They've been on Joe Rogan talking about it. Like it's becoming a big thing. And so they didn't even ask AOC and Talib and them didn't even ask these. They didn't go, hey, wait a minute. Like, what is this? They didn't poll Black people. They didn't do anything. That tells you the author.
I'm sure they had meetings with some of the large corporate bankers that helped write this bill, because if you are making a bill, Graham, I don't care what it is. Let's say you're making a bill on wheat. You're going to sit down with the wheat farmers of America and talk to them. So you're making a bill out of nowhere. Go onto Rashida Tlaib's Twitter when she announces the bill and look at the comments from Black users. They're saying, no, 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 no. Crypto is a way to empower us. This is a mistake. Please, they're begging, please take it down, reverse it. It's absolutely insane that this is being proposed. And in the name of people of color and people that are impoverished, you're literally doing the exact opposite. You're handing control over to the big shadow bankers. So I am praying that people find out about this and lobby that this does not get passed, because it's doing the exact opposite of what it's claiming to do.
So, what we can do, everybody, if you're out there, first of all, if any of these people are your actual representatives, you better call them and say, I'm in your district. I don't want this. But everybody should be pressuring them. This is the thing. Like AOC said it last week. She goes, we got to make the people in power uncomfortable. Well, she's in power. We need to make her uncomfortable. If you live in AOC's district or Talib's district or Presley's district or this other guy's district, you need to tell them, I will vote against you if you let this Stablecoin Act pass, because this is bullshit. And I'm sure this thing was written by big banks. I'm sure it was. And what makes it even more insidious is they're like, oh, this is here to protect you. It's like the Patriot Act. It's here to protect you. No, it's so that you can surveil us from your phones. Like Edward Snowden told us that. Anytime it's, oh, this is for your protection, or, oh, this deregulation will save you money. No, it won't. It'll help the 1% and those that is in power. I'm so sick of this filthy lies and bullshit. So this is what we all have to do, everybody. We have to use your social media platforms, obviously, but you need to call these people and say no on the stablecoin. You need to email them and say no on the Stablecoin Act, because it only helps big bankers. And they're
protecting bank profits. That's the only thing this act does, is protect bank profits. And Graham, one of the reasons I know for a fact that it's focused on protecting bank profits is because out of all the cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, hence the name stable, are the least volatile. They're the safest. Right. It's not like you're buying some weird, altcoin or new altcoin that, no, these are supposed to be based 1-to-1 to the US dollar. They don't go up and down in price at all. They're just used to lend out and pay interest and commission to you for your money. It's to say that it's dangerous, these are risky. And if you look at the language in the act, which I have read, they use it as a blanket way to cover all cryptocurrencies. And so that's their little in, right? So they say, oh, well, this is about stablecoins, but then there's language in there that says all crypto must go under the Federal Reserve. All crypto must go under FDIC. And so that's the scary thing, is they're really trying to trick us. And then, oh, guess what? Well, we have this digital coin called the Fed currency, and you can use that because it's the same thing.
Yep. And it's just like, and they say, well, some of these exchanges and stuff have been hacked. It's like regular banks get hacked on a daily. Like there's like billions of hacks that have happened just in 2020. And they're like, oh, crypto's used for nefarious things. You're right. And the US dollar has only ever been used to like schools and Girl Scout fundraisers.
There's no cocaine on the dollar or blood or anything like that.
No one's ever done blow with a dollar. It's never happened. It's never, strip clubs don't use them. It's fine. I get it. Yeah. So you're seeing when something comes along that's this powerful, and when they react this way, this is really like the reaction to crypto shows you how powerful, how they don't want it. Cause it really, and all these crypto people, like Max Kaiser, like I'm watching all these people who are just like, the ruling elites know that their time is up and they're like scrambling.
They are scrambling. It's really scary. There's a lot of other things that the Fed is doing right now that's really, really scary. Just to the average person, the fact that interest rates are so low, they're trying to prop up a zombie economy. That's what they're calling it, zombie businesses, because all of these companies are propped up with PPP loans. All the small businesses are going to fail. And the corporate, large corporations, they're going to have to be bailed out again with taxpayer money. So it's a large wealth transfer. And it's very, very scary what they're doing, because, you know, they're taking from teachers, firefighters, nurses, and doctors, and they're putting them in the hands of very corrupt individuals.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.